and thank you for tuning in. This video is about eControl Studio, namely about the feature called Perimeter Walk, and it supplements corresponding chapter of Diamond Edge Machine's user manual. The voice you're hearing is that of Andrei Larionov, Director of Economical Solutions Corp. Our company designs, manufactures, and supports unique diamond engraving machines. Unlike laser that burn the stone, our machines physically hit it with the sharpened diamond tip. That is why we call the process Impact Etching. Our machines are purpose-built for use in monument industry and are mostly used to put portraits and images on monuments and headstones. You can find more about our machines by going to www.impactetching.com. Let's talk about perimeter walk. So what is perimeter walk? It is a function that we are very proud of. Perimeter walk allows you to see the location of your etching on the stone before starting the etching job. It gets rid of any uncertainty associated with positioning and sizing of your etching job. Perimeter walk is very useful for all etching jobs. But in this video, I will present a somewhat extreme case of etching the irregularly shaped monuments. So you can see one example of such monument on your screen right now. One important thing to understand, since our machines are hitting the stone physically, the etching tip has to stay in contact with stone at all times. Or to rephrase it, you should make absolutely sure that the etching head will not leave the surface of the stone during your etching job. So for irregular shaped stones, or in cases when etching comes very close to the edge of the stone, perimeter walk function helps you to both confirm the location of your etching as well as to prevent etching head from going off the stone surface. So, as I said, let us consider a case of etching the irregular shaped stone like the one you see right now. And we need to, well, let's assume that we need to create a layout that would kind of be inscribed into the shape of the stone. And by that layout, I mean the following. So I'm going to start showing you the elements. So let's assume we have a portrait somewhere in the middle, and then we have two sets of flowers basically hugging the surface of the monument so that it is expected to look approximately like this, right? So when you're putting the layout of this particular etching job together, there's one very important thing to understand. Our machines consider absolutely black color, that is color number 0, to be a void color. What it means is that during the etching job, the etcher will not move the etching head into the outside area of your image. If that area is color number 0, that means perfect black. So let us assume, so this gray area is just the shape of the monument. Obviously, when you put your layout together, it has to be a square image. So let us assume that the image that you've created for this particular etching job is this black rectangle. Ignore the white area around it. I just leave it for illustration, but your image will be just black. It should not have any white border. So if you have created image like this, and the outside color of your image is perfect black, then your etching head will move approximately like this. And I'm just showing the highlighter to kind of better illustrate it. So you will say position your etching tip in the lower left corner of your future etching. It will recognize that this area is black, so what it will do, it will immediately move here, initialize the machine here, and start running left and right. Okay, it will never go outside of the perimeter or contour of this portrait because it will recognize that the outside area is all black. Okay, then it will quickly jump. Well, I guess at this area it will just continue etching, And our machine is actually also designed to quickly run over the black areas. So what it will do, it will etch a little bit of the stem of the flower here, quickly run over to the head, etch the head, quickly run over to the stem, run back, head, stem, go to the next line, stem, head, stem. So you understand the idea. So based on this explanation, there are some important conclusions to make. First, make sure that all of your non-etchable areas are perfect black color, that is color number 0. Even higher numbers, such as color number 1, while looking black on the screen, will or may cause your etcher to actually consider it to be non-void color, and then your etcher will start etching it. I mean, it will end up still being black, but it might cause, depending on the stone you use, it might cause it to run off the surface of the stone. If you use our image editing service, our artists will take care of that, i.e. they're instructed to ensure that non-etchable areas are always color number 0. If you prepare images yourself, the best way to achieve this result is to make sure that you create one background layer and then flood fill it with perfect black color. So if you look at what I have here, basically I have a few layers where I don't have any background at all, and then I have one layer which has a perfect black background, and then once the image is completely composed, I just collapse all my layers, and that ensures, even if I do any kind of editing operations, I might, for example, brighten my flowers here in the upper layers, but my perfectly black background layer will always stay black, which is what we want. So the next conclusion from the above discussion is that if you prepare your layout properly with outside areas being black, then machine will not move the etching head into those areas, and you will pretty much guarantee that your etching head will not leave the surface of your irregularly shaped stone. And that's what we want to happen, right? So just kind of to illustrate this a little bit, this is your layout, right? This is your actual file. This is the layout, this is the shape of the stone that it should be inscribed into. And if everything is correct, even though your stone is somewhat irregularly shaped, the etching tip will never venture outside of the physical boundaries of your stone. By the way, overlaying the contours of your stone with actual image layout, as I did right now, I'm just putting them into different layers, that is a completely legitimate way to ensure that your layout is correct. In that case, obviously, it's easier to create such layout in advanced raster editors such as Photoshop, or in my case, Corel, as opposed to using canvas functionality in eControl, because our canvas functionality just does not allow you to overlay those layers with the same ease. To get the shape of your stone into your software, sometimes it's just enough to simply photograph it while standing straight in front of the stone and holding your camera strictly vertical to ensure that there's no irregularities and distortions from keeping your camera to the side of the stone. Our image editing service, by the way, quite often receives such requests for putting together layouts for irregularly shaped monuments. So we just ask our customers to photograph the stone, send it to us, and our artists do exactly what I'm doing now. They just overlay the shape of the stone above the actual layout that they create, and they make sure that the layout fits or hugs the surface of the stone. So if what I'm showing looks too complicated to you, you can do just that. You can use our service, photograph your stone, send us the photograph, and along with all the images that you want to be added to your layout, and our artists will do all the work. So to summarize, when creating the layout for irregularly shaped stones, you simply need to ensure that areas where etching head would leave the surface of the stone are perfect black. This will ensure that etching head will actually never go into those areas during the etching process. Now, let us see how we can use the perimeter walk in this particular case. I have here in my office the compact etcher set up on my desk. So to emulate the irregularly shaped stone, I have just printed its shape on a piece of paper. You should understand that in a real production setting, the etcher, if it's a compact one, is put on top of the monument. So where you see the surface of my desk is actually, that's where the stone is supposed to be. That's for the compact etcher. And for the large etcher, you just feed the entire slab between the legs of the etchers into its frame. And obviously the stones that you would etch on would be much larger than this piece of paper, but it perfectly serves our purpose for demonstrating how the perimeter walk works, and it makes it easier for me to create this video in the environment of my office. So let us first go back to my raster editor. Again, I use this shape of my monument to supplement my editing, but obviously we do not. That's not what our image should look like. If you remember, it should have black background. So that's what I'm doing next. Then I'm going to merge all layers, and I am going to carefully select my image, making sure I only select black area and don't grab any white areas accidentally. I'm going to very carefully select my image. Okay, wrong. I'm going to very carefully select my image, and then we're going to feed it into our program and do perimeter walk to make sure that everything fits in. All right, so selected, selection, edit, copy, edit, paste as a new image. Okay, that's what our layout should look like if we kind of match the canvas, if we match the layout to our stone. But obviously, I mean, this black margin on the bottom, you can just cut it off and start etching somewhere in the middle of the stone. So I just chose to, in this particular case, to match the dimensions of my file to dimensions of my future of my stone, of my slab. So I'm going to save it on my desktop as JPEG. That's the file that's probably preferred by our program. Keep the compression ratio of JPEG a little bit lower to ensure the quality. And I'm going to call my file perimeter walk test 01. Save it to desktop. Okay, that's fine. So now that I've saved it, the next step to do is to launch eControl Studio. And while I'm doing perimeter walk, I'm also going to display what happens inside of the machine frame, inside of the machine working field using this webcam. So let's just try to rearrange the windows a little bit. So machine is initialized, perfect. So I'm going to open my file. Okay, so we opened the file. I do have the auto match to canvas option turned on. And now what I need to do, just for the purpose of this demonstration, I need to just measure the size of my stone. And that is exactly what we do. So I'll just grab this tape measure, and the height of it is approximately maybe 9.8 inches, and the width is, well, width will be calculated automatically because we have the aspect ratios preserved. So 9.8 approximately, that's what we'll do. Going back to eControl, we specify height as 9.8, and width will be calculated automatically. So I am now, that's my file. I am going to position, again, it doesn't matter where to start, but just in this particular case, I'm going to position my etching head. Hold on, I want to make sure you can see it. I'm going to position my etching head in the left bottom corner of my future etching. So I'm moving it, and you don't see it from the point of my web camera, but I can perfectly see where my etching tip is currently located by moving it closer and then lowering it down so that it actually touches the stone, or in my case, it touches the paper. So I am going to do just that. Adjust it a little bit, lower the speed so that I can position it with more precision. And now I am pretty much in that particular corner of my future etching. Okay, so now that we've positioned, I want to show you what how to launch the perimeter walk. So it takes a while to calculate the image because it's a pretty big one. Clicking on, we need to let machine know where the etching tip right now is located, which is in the lower left corner of the future etching. Then clicking on perimeter walk, and that's what perimeter walk does. It basically shows you the outside perimeter where fitting the stone is the most critical task, and it walks the etching head along the perimeter of your future etching, while at the same time showing in the program where that position is. You can control the speed of your perimeter walk, and you can stop it at any time, lower the etching head closer to the monument to see where that place is, and then continue. And automatically, there's a parameter called automatic lifting up on start. That means when you do perimeter walk, you should obviously not touch the stone. It should all happen in the air. And that's why we absolutely recommend that you turn on this parameter to make sure that etching head is lifted while the perimeter walk is ongoing. Let me just show you once again where that function is invoked from. So you do start etching job, and right on that screen there's image, and then there's preview tab. Preview tab will be selected by default. In case it's not, make sure you select preview tab, and then there's this button called perimeter walk. You click on it, and right now our etching head is positioned here. So you see that green, I don't know, dot or crosshair, and we choose the speed of our perimeter walk, and we can choose to walk clockwise, which will move the etching head like this, or counterclockwise, which will move the etching head like this. So let's launch it, and once it starts moving and working, you immediately see the value of it, and it's actually very intuitive what this function is doing. So I'm just going to show it to you. All right, so now we are moving along the edge of our future etching, and we really don't see the etching head is like in the air, probably a couple of inches above the surface of the stone. But at any time where we come to the point where it's really critical to make sure it fits the stone, we can stop and lower the etching head to make sure that we're in the correct place. For example, somewhere around this area that I'm showing with my mouse, I'm going to stop and lower the etching head closer to the material, to the stone, to make sure that we are not outside of the stone's boundaries. Okay, so now I'm lowering the stone, lowering the etching head. You don't see it from I guess from the place where my webcam is. Let me actually move it down so that you can see. Just 1 second. Okay, well, the lighting here is not the best, but hopefully you can see Hold on, I'll just bring my table lamp over. All right, so hopefully you can see that the etching tip is actually pretty much very close on the border, very close to the border, but it's not outside, which is perfect. So we'll just continue perimeter walk. In some critical areas, you can lower the speed and walk very, very slowly. Or you can increase the speed and quickly run over to another place. For example, here on the right side, another flower, I want to make sure it fits. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so here again, I'm going to lower my tip, and it touches my stone made out of paper in the right place. So I'm quite sure everything will work fine. Everything will stay inside of the perimeter of the stone. If you overshot your position, you can always lower the speed and do counterclockwise perimeter walk by running a little bit in the opposite direction and then stopping again. Now, isn't that cool? Isn't that a great feature? Every time I'm demonstrating it, I'm very excited. So, once you've done your perimeter walk and you're confident that your image is located where you want it to be located, you press stop and go to start point. It will return the tip to the original place where you started from, and if everything's fine, then all you need to do at this point, just press the run button, and your etching will start. So I hope you understand the usefulness of this function, and I hope you'll use it a lot, and this will help you in your work. I guess that concludes this video. The next video we are planning to make will be about running and launching your etching job, and more specifically about resuming the interrupted jobs. Jobs can be interrupted from different reasons. You might have to just stop it and go, turn off your computer, turn off your etcher, because it's, I don't know, the end of the day and you don't want to leave it running overnight, or there can be some disruption to power supply and your machine might shut down in the middle of the etching job. So that's something we'll talk about in the next video. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.